welcome back to live streaming. Here is Connor Hollingshead, very handsome young student, very brilliant. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, my name's Connor Hollingshead. I'm a student from Vancouver, Canada. I go to Simon Fraser University, just outside of Vancouver. So, I've grown up there. I've lived there my whole life. Yeah.
Awesome. And first, we want you share your story, and please tell our audience what happened after communism infiltrated in Canada. What happened in the election of Canada?
So, as you know already, the CPP or CCP, is trying to influence elections in Western democracies. And just a couple of days ago in Canada, we found out that in our last federal election, which took place in 2021, there was CCP interference into our election. And so, they were taking Chinese Canadians who were eligible to vote. They were putting them on buses and busing them down to polling stations where they could vote and telling them who they had to vote for, right? In this case, it was the Liberal Party of Canada and the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Chinese Canadians were being told that if they didn't vote for Prime Minister Trudeau, their family was in danger back home. Any family they had in China would be put in a very dangerous situation. So, this is clear infiltration of a Canadian election. If they're doing it to us, I promise you they're trying to do it elsewhere. We have a very large Chinese community in Canada, as some of you may know, particularly in my hometown of Vancouver. There are many Chinese Canadians. We have one city, Richmond, right outside of Vancouver, which is majority Chinese Canadian. So this is a large impact on our election, right? This is a lot of voters we're talking about who are being directly influenced by Beijing.
Wow, that's an unbelievable story, And so you mean that CCP kidnapped Chinese immigrants to vote who they want, right?
That's right. The CCP knew who they wanted to win this election. They took Chinese citizens and they told them they had to vote for that candidate, which obviously in any democracy is a very concerning thing, right? We don't want foreign interference in our elections. We want Canadians to be able to decide freely who their prime minister should be. That's the point of our democracy. So it's a very concerning thing that we just saw happen in Canada. And just 2 days ago, we found out officially that this is happening in our country.
Wow, this is not good. This is not good sign. So does it happen in campus? The infiltration of Communist Party?
Well, this is even worse, and this is something we've known has been going on for years, particularly through the Confucius Institute, which is one of the largest donors of a university in my hometown, the University of British Columbia. It has a lot of Chinese international students who come in. Probably the largest group of international students come from China, and organizations like the Confucius Institute give a lot of money to UBC, and we know that is CCP money, that money is coming from Beijing, and it's coming in return for influence, right? Beyond just the Confucius Institute, Huawei is also a very large donor to the University of British Columbia. There's questions about whether we should let Huawei into the country at all, and at the same time, that organization is giving money to our schools and our campuses. So it's a very concerning thing, right, that we have all this money coming from Beijing. Obviously, they're giving it, hoping to get some sort of influence in return. And we're allowing this to happen in our country, where a foreign government is interfering not only in our politics and our elections, but in our private institutions and our education system.
Wow, the communism is there, and everything started to become the disaster, the catastrophe. So, do you think there is a hope for the world? How do you like the new federal state of China?
Well, you know what? There has to be hope, right? Because if we lose hope, what's left? We have to remain faithful that this sort of infiltration from a malicious government, which does not have the best interests of its people or its foreigners at heart, this is something that has to be stopped. And this is why organizations like yours are so important, right? Is because you guys are standing directly up to Beijing, a very scary thing to do at times, and a very difficult thing to do, right? But you guys are standing up to Beijing, and it's critically important because this sort of interference coming from China cannot be tolerated. It can't be tolerated in my country of Canada. Certainly it can't be tolerated in a country like the United States. If we think about what interference in a U.S. election from China could look like, right, and how far that could go, and the impact that could have on who's leading the United States, it raises some serious questions that, I think need to be answered. So, I would just say the work you guys are doing is so important. I would, please keep fighting the good fight because we need organizations like yours to stand up to China, to stand up to Beijing. Get rid of Xi, right? And bring back government to the Chinese people that they deserve. Freedom, and this is such an important thing, right? The CCP is not the Chinese people. I have great admiration and respect for Chinese people who immigrate to Canada, who immigrate to the United States. That's never been a problem. Unfortunately, their government, I don't like nearly as much, right? So it's important to make the distinction that, I have an issue with the CCP. I have no issue with Chinese people. So it's all about getting rid of the CCP. I have great admiration and respect for the Chinese people. I do hope that they stand up to the CCP at some point and bring back some form of democratic government so that, they can finally have the freedom that I think they deserve.
Thank you, Connor, so much. Thank you for your support. Because we have your support. Yes, please share us to your classmates.
Absolutely.
Yes, to your professor. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.